For Lesson 5, we'll be comparing ratio tables. So in our first task, a school reading club rewards members based on their reading speed. 3 students were timed, and the results are shown below. So we've got Robert, Michaela, and Laura. They each have a table that represents their reading speed. All right, so what do you notice that is different about these tables? Well, just looking at them, right away, the minutes column looks like it's all counting by and starting at different places, right? We have 2, 5, 8, 11, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6. They're not matching, right? So we can say all the minutes are different, which really makes it kind of hard to compare these tables. So we're going to need to do something because it's hard to compare them. How are the values in the minutes column displayed? Well, they count by different numbers, right? And they don't all start at the same place. So they count by different numbers and don't start the same. Which really makes this difficult to compare. Like here, I can kind of see a comparison because they're both 2 minutes. So if you have 2 minutes, you can see that Robert does 304 words and Laura does 316, so she's faster. But it's really hard to compare with this one, right? Because it's 3 minutes. So I don't know. I mean, obviously she's going to do more words because she had a whole nother minute. So we have to do something else. Write a ratio to compare the number of minutes to the number of words for each person. What we're going to do is simplify the first row in every table so that we can compare these. You'll see what I mean in a second. We basically just need one of the numbers to match, right? We need it to be the same number of minutes so that we can figure out what's going on here. Because if each person has 1 minute, then we should see exactly how many words they read and we can put it in order who read the most. Okay, so 2 to 304, that's going to be, well, here, I'll write it the way I said it. So 2 to 304 is this one. And then for Michaela, hers was 3 to 483. And then Laura's is 2 to 316. We just need to simplify these. So I think this one can be simplified by 2 because they're both even. And if we do that, we're going to get 1 over 152. So that's for Robert. For Michaela, maybe we can try simplifying by 3. I'm not sure, so I'm going to show that off to the side. So 483 divided by 3 goes in 1 time. Subtract, we get 1, bring down the 8. 3 goes into 18 6 times, exactly 18. Bring down the 3. 3 goes into 3 once, exactly 3 times. We get 161. So 1 over 161. And then for Laura, 2 and 316 we can divide by 2. So we'd get 1, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then 316 divided by 2 would be 158 for Laura. So there are our simplified ratios. So now I think we can compare these. So we've got Robert, which is 1 to 152 words. We've got Michaela, and she does 1 minute, 161 words. And then Laura, who does 1 minute, 158 words. So to answer question 4, we actually can do this now. Who reads the fastest? Well, if we gave each of them a minute by simplifying, we can see that the one who reads the most in 1 minute is Michaela. So fastest is Michaela. And then slowest, if we give them all 1 minute, who reads the least amount of words? Well, that's going to be Robert at 152. And then that would mean that Laura's just in the middle. Okay? So now, basically what we did was we picked one entry in the table for each of them. Doesn't matter which one. Smallest numbers are usually the easiest. We wrote it as a ratio, like a fraction, and then we simplified it. And once they're simplified, you can compare. Okay? All right, one more example. So for task 2, 2 additional students decided to enter the contest, but their results were incomplete. Use the information given in the tables to complete the tables and determine Peter and Diego's impact on the competition. So basically, we have to figure out how to fill in all these empty spots. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before and just pick one line, the smallest numbers that are there, and simplify it to get the ratio. So for Peter, there's nothing in the row with the 1, so I'm going to go down to the next one with the 4. So it's 4, 620. So we can try dividing, maybe we can divide by 4. Let's see if it works. So I'm just going to write that over here to the side. So 620 divided by 4. So this is 155, which is perfect because that actually fills in our first ratio. Okay? So once we find the simplified version, we can fill the whole rest of the table out. We'll have to use a new trick, which is really an old trick. So take your 1 to 155 and fill in the blank with one of the numbers you have. So if we're in this row, we have 1,085 words, which is going to match with the 155, and we have a blank spot for the number of minutes. We just have to figure out how many times 155 fits into 1,085. If we were just guessing, how about 7? So we get 35, so that'd be 38. There we go, 7 times. Just a little bit of guess and check. 1 times 7 is 7. Okay, now use this same trick that we just did, and now instead of the 1085, we have 10 minutes. So I'm going to put the 10 on the top, and this one's much easier. 1 times 10 is 10. Multiply the 155 by 10, and you're just going to get 155 with a 0. So 1,550. Okay, so for Diego, we're going to do the same thing. So our first step was to write a ratio with just the first entry on the table. So we've got 2 and 328. Let's go ahead and simplify that one. I'm going to try 2 because they're both even. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 328 divided by 2, that would be, let's see, 300 divided by 2 is 150. 28 divided by 2 is 14. So we'd get 164. If you have to show out the long division for that, it's fine. I was just showing you a quick way to do it. So now, every 1 minute, Diego reads 164 words. So now we know, well, if he has 5 minutes, we can just use our proportion like before. He doesn't have 1 minute, he has 5. So put the 5 on the top. To get from 1 minute to 5 minutes, it's times 5. And then we do the same thing to the bottom. So 164 times 5. It's going to be 20, 32, 820. Okay, now use the same exact setup, but instead of the 5, now we have 1,804, and that's words, so I'm going to put it on the bottom. We need to know how many times does 164 fit into that. I'm going to guess maybe like 11 times. Let's see. So 4, 6, 1, add your 0, 4, 6, 1. We get 4, 8. Perfect. So it fit in times 11. And again, I'm just guessing. I kind of looked here to see like that it would be between 8 and 14 and guessed at 11 to see that that would work. 1 times 11 is 11. Okay, and last one, erase all this. Now, instead of the 1804, we know that we have 14 minutes. So I matched it with the 1 on the top. This is much easier. 1 times 14 is 14. And then just do the times 14 on the bottom, which I don't know, so I'm going to show the work. 16, oops, would be 25, 6, add a 0, 4, 6, 1, oops, and then add it up. So 2,296 words, okay? So again, just quick recap, what you're doing is choosing one entry in the table, simplifying it, and then using that ratio to find out all the other ones, like to complete the puzzle and fill in the table.